Hi, everybody. It is November 13, 2023. Here we go. Another fabulous night of news. Lindy London, Dawn E., TFL at War. Hello. Hello. Cecilia Amirati, Sherry Hughes, thank you very much. Question everything. So now I know. Hi. Marty Lauderdale, hello. Oy, I am so sorry, Marty, about your dog. Okay, question everything, hello. Taylor News, hello. James Motley, Oracle 11, Donna Davidson, Patricia White, Jane Northrup, The Hypocrite's Matrix, Atena. And I just want to say, I'm so sorry, Atena. Because I know I'm butchering your name. Hypocrite's Matrix, hello. Laura Larson, I'm a Skeptic, hello. Wow. There's something in the air that is causing my glasses to get very, almost like a film on my glasses. I am a skeptic. Hello. Wow, my eyes have really gone downhill. Can't say it's age. I will say it's electromagnetic frequencies, staring at a computer all the time. Not good, not good. So, small group tonight. I'm still on Never Lose Truth 5, even though Never Lose Truth 1, they've allowed me to start posting there again. I'm going to stay with Never Lose Truth 5 until I arrive at a new place. Yeah, Haska-san, hello. So I'm going to start with this video. Well, actually, some weather news. Looming California storm harder to forecast than usual. Well, it's climate change. It's harder to forecast than usual. You guys who know, little one, this is Bookend. Can you see Bookend? You see why I'm calling him Bookend? He looks exactly like Little One, except he doesn't have a clipped ear. Okay. Slight interruption, but I saw him out there, and that's the one I'm nervous about. Having to move. But went out today. Oh, I want to thank Susan for emailing information. I can't find Bach Rescue Remedy or any rescue remedy. Pets, there's no PetSmart around here. There's no pet stores. I did go to vets. Oh, closed. So, it's a he. It's very much a he. He will be slightly less a he after I arrive in the new place within a couple of days. So, the only thing that I could find was at Walmart a calming collar. Oy! And I did get Benadryl. Don't like having to do that, but I'm going to. It's difficult because it's hard to keep them inside. And on the day I leave, he comes around in the morning and around 3-ish. So I was picking him up today, and he was okay with that. So I think I'll be able to, on the day I leave, be able to pick him up, put him in here with the other two, lock them in, and wish me good luck. Wish me good luck. I do not want to leave him here because nobody is going to take care of him. And I was greatly impacted by there was a time when I was reading a lot of Native American literature, and that one sentence, if you save a life, you're responsible for that life. So, how about, if you bring a life into existence, parents, you're responsible for that life. A whole lot of parents don't really feel that. All right, so what's going on? Yeah, National Weather Service meteorologists are painstakingly working to paint a clearer picture of an upcoming storm that's expected to bring moderate to heavy, widespread rainfall to the Bay Area in the coming days, but said details on timing and totals have been more difficult to pinpoint than usual due to the unique nature of the weather pattern. The models are trending in completely different directions. Yeah, I guess models don't really do it, huh? In terms of the intensity of rainfall, looming storm is expected to stall out about 500 miles west of the Bay Area before it gradually moves towards the eastern Pacific over the course of several days. I have to wonder if it's going to stall out. When is the Asian Pacific Conference taking place in the Bay Area, San Francisco? I wonder if it's going to stall out. They're modifying the weather for President Xi's visit. Maybe that's why it's just, it's going to stall out. It's just going to hang out 500 miles off the coast, boom, and then come in. Whatever. We all know what's going on, but man, Italy now, Sicily is in chaos. Wind at a speed of 203 kilometers, blows away houses.
Authorities worked hard to evacuate vulnerable residents, ensuring their safety during this meteorological attack. Wind, a relentless force of nature, is the most terrifying element of a storm. With wind gusts reaching hurricane force, trees were snapped, roofs were torn, and power lines were down.
Oh my God! Whoa!
Firefighters said they responded to more than 100 calls and performed dozens of rescues, with many drivers caught off guard by fast-flowing water. The storm's path of destruction left many residents without power, isolating them from the outside world. The storm's fury hit the coast. Local fishermen, knowledgeable about the sea's volatile temperament, reported significant losses to their boats and equipment. La Repubblica newspaper quoted Pierluigi Randi, president of the AMPRO Association of Weather Experts, assessing this as the worst flood to hit Italy in the past century. Meteorologists and climate scientists have highlighted the increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events due to global climate change.
My expression.
Sicily's experience is a powerful reminder of the need for sustainable and resilient infrastructure to
Od 90.
My mic was off. Forget it. I've said the same old, doesn't matter. The wind overturns cars. The sky has fallen over Turkey. A storm in Istanbul.
Istanbul faced an unusual climate challenge, giant hailing company by a strong storm. Ice balls the size of these blows across the city, with panic in other cities' residents. Meteorologists noted that such a phenomenon is rare for this region. Local authorities carry out measures to eliminate the consequences of a natural disaster. Cars and buildings were hit by strong winds, causing significant property damage.
Okay. The storms are definitely getting very intense. You know, Istanbul, Italy, and well, they've been increasing their destructive powers on an annual basis. Having done this for so long, this winter I think is going to be very bad for an awful lot of people. And my microphone is on, Rick. So if you can't hear me, don't know what to tell you. But just be prepared this winter, especially you guys up north, for snow. And, you know, mid-central or central, snow. And, hey, well, all over, actually. It's just all over. Etna volcano. Aviation color code raised to red. Italy, Mount Etna. Europe's highest and most active volcano showed a significant increase in volcanic activity yesterday, leading the National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology to raise the color code to red. So I read the article. There's no evacuations yet, but Iceland, and I want to thank my subscriber for sending this along to me, but large crack opens up in town center of Grindavik, Iceland. God, I am tired of myself not putting that mic on. Large crack, so this town has been evacuated. They're afraid of a volcano blow in Iceland as well, and traffic nightmare expected over coming days with indefinite closure of I-10. It's I-10, Freeway 10 in California. And where was it that not too long ago, like a couple of months ago, a truck crashed in to an overpass, and it was the interstate, and they were saying that, well, we're not going to be able to fix this interstate for a very, very long time, like 6 to 8 months, which was abject bullshit, but they did get it together to fix it rather quickly. I can't remember where that was, but it does seem that these, Atlanta, I can't remember what the interstate was. Driving through Atlanta is not a lot of fun. So when you have an interstate that closes down, then it's really not a lot of fun. And that was just a couple of years ago, when there was a massive problem with the interstate. I believe it was caused by a fire. Now we have this, caused by a fire.
Get ready for a traffic nightmare come tomorrow with Angelenos returning to work and to school.
A stretch of the 10 freeway is shut down after a pallet fire underneath it caused major damage to its structure. The 10 freeway is closed between Alameda Street and Santa Fe Avenue indefinitely while Caltrans works to repair the damage. KCAL News reporter Joy Benedict is in downtown LA for us tonight with important information about tomorrow's tough commute. Joy?
Yeah, I think that's the question that everyone's asking, right? How is my commute going to be tomorrow? How much earlier do I have to leave? And unfortunately, the news is just not good when it comes to that tonight. I mean, take a look at the work, what's being done. We're on 14th Street here, right next to Alameda. Above us, that is the 10 freeway. And what is missing is, of course, the cars. That's because they are trying to figure out just how bad all this damage is. It was a sea of red on what should have been an easy drive. Brake lights on the freeway and little movement on the side streets.
I've been in line for this like for a good 15, 20 minutes, not moving.
And if it looks like this on a Sunday night, the fear is what's to come Monday morning.
I got to get up earlier. Usually I have to get up at 6 to be on time, and now I got to get up like 5:30 probably, 5 o'clock. Yeah, it's wild.
And city officials are fearing the same.
We know that about 300,000 people drive through that route on those freeways every day. So that's why it's going to take massive cooperation for us to get through this.
The city is asking.
Massive disruption that's the name of the game now. That's what life has become. Just disruption and frustration and destruction. Okay, I want to thank my subscriber for sending this along to me. Strange videos. Okay, strange, chaotic events, changing everything now. This is JWTV. I'm going to play a few minutes, but I think you should all click on the link and watch the full video. Oh, things are going kind of crazy.
Strange, chaotic events that's going to affect all of us because of what they're doing now. This freaking green ooze start to show up in New York. So there's a bigger, larger agenda here, though. What I looked up, look on screen, 405 nm laser can induce frequencies inside this dye that they put in people's water across the world. And you would ask the question, well, why would they want to laser induce the water? Okay, so they could vaporize water, meaning that they could make water supplies kind of slightly disappear. 2, they can cut objects under the water. 3, they could use frequencies to change the way the water actually is. And guess what else? Only the green dye allows them to penetrate through the water like this because the water is blue. We learned from Maui that blue things can be hit with laser. They need to have an ultraviolet purple laser too. Here's a video of so-called Hamas supporters trying to break into the police department.
That's Grand Central, but okay. not a police department.
And I told you, the dates lined up. Ever since HAARP fired up, HAARP started November 4th, and look what happened in Europe November 4th. Look what happened in DC November 4th. Look at all the dates that line up with November 4th in violence. People started to get more rowdy in the US, in UK, in Canada, all across the world. This is not a coincidence. And two, the video I have to show you next is not a coincidence.
Guys, there's some weird noises going on out here. I just woke up from a nap to just weird noises going on outside.
So check this out. She hears sound waves in the atmosphere. This was the same week HAARP fired up. The same exact week. And then on top of that, the sound. Okay, look on screen right here. What does it say right there? They're using sound waves and frequency to put at the atmosphere. And once they do that, we hear sounds and then it do something later with the weather. And you know how we know this is true? Because we've seen a video where the sky sounded like it was frying like bacon.
Se está partiendo el pinche. Ay, hijo de eso.
And then, since the frequency waves have shot up, now guess what? In Texas, they took over the ground like masses of people. And so at large, these waves, these VLFs, these ELFs also cause aggression and different levels of escalation. Right that same night in Texas, something else strange happened as well at a store. Some event with you know what happening. As usual, what do they try to do? Come and get the guns. But guess what? A Supreme Court judge just said this about the pistol brace ban they try to do. Not gonna work, buddy. And I wasn't giving it up anyway. What about you? So the next big thing that what's coming worldwide for the supply chain. This next story is much bigger than you think. I'm gonna break it down to what they're actually doing.
Nearly 1 million chickens on a Minnesota egg farm will be slaughtered to help limit the spread of the highly contagious bird flu. The U.S. Department of Agriculture on Monday announced the virus was found at a farm in Wright County, Minnesota. It also announced 3 smaller cases in South Dakota and Iowa.
As bird flu cases rise in Iowa, it's beginning to take a toll on farms. Over 1 million chickens will need to be slaughtered on a Taylor County egg farm after the virus was detected.
And then the people who are behind these farms, they're trying to do this to you. They're saying they're gonna quarantine you. Like, this is getting to the next level here. But something else larger behind the scenes that nobody's telling you that you're about to find out right now. So all across the world, look at this on screen. They're genetically modifying the freaking chicken from US to UK to Canada. And guess what else they're doing? These genetically modified chickens are gonna be in the freaking market. They said they edited so that it won't get the influenza. And then next thing you know, outbreak, influenza, chickens need to be murdered. So this is what they're doing here. This is a part of the process. We've exposed it. Experimentation, gene edited chickens. And you still enjoying them chicken necks you eat? On top of that,
All right, so there's only 3 more minutes left. Check him out. But yeah, people are, well, not quite right.
customer at
What's going on? Oh, I'm so lucky. It's just not playing. Aren't I lucky? I'm so lucky. What's going on, TikTok? This was a pretty intense video here. And it's not playing. Well, this guy, as you can see, he's sticking his whole half his body through the window in McDonald's. He's throwing things. He's breaking up things. I'll put the I can't. The link is way too long. Yeah.
erratic customer at a McDonald's in White Marsh, Maryland.
You do this, you dumb bitch! Shut it down right now! Mark Zuckerberg is not fucking good! Give me some food! I own all this shit! I own all this shit! Fucking food! Give me some fucking food! Don't make me call racist terms on you! Give me some damn real food! Give me some fucking food!
He's coming now. He's cooking your quarter.
Give me some fucking fries! Give me that bag of fries right there! Bitch! I'm gonna grab your head, grab me that bag of fries right there!
What fries do you need?
That bag right there!
Okay.
Both bags! Both bags, you stupid bitch! They come in for 3 months! Stupid fucking whore! Don't know the stupid shit the white again, you dumb bitch! Y'all ain't taking over this country, white or black! Fuck y'all!
Well, he wanted his food. He got his food. And what the hell is wrong with people? Frequency's getting to people far more so than ever. What is going on? People are not acting right. Very concerning indeed. Los Angeles County approves new Office of Food Equity. That's right. Food insecurity is growing all over the country. Los Angeles County wants to make sure that the migrants and transgender communities get their food. That's what equity is all about. Oh, out of room, New York City paying for immigrants to leave, but many refuse to leave. What's going on? They love New York. New York City is trying to expel migrants by offering them plane tickets to leave for other states or places outside of the country, but many of them don't want to leave. New York, New York, it's a hell of a town. Only 2% of 140,000 migrants who have come to New York City have applied for work permits. So even when you give gifts, not too many people want them. Group of migrants near San Miguel, Arizona, located on the Tohono O'odham Nation. Last Saturday and Monday, agents encountered 2 separate groups of roughly 1,000 migrants. Arizona, you're seeing an awful lot of these migrants coming through every day now. Large groups. And here, so this, apparently Trump had said something about building a massive detention center for illegal migrants. Okay. Yeah, Trumpers. Gotta love them. No, you don't.
We're out here at Floyd Bennett Field, where we opened the earth, and it is going to include children and families. This is, as you can see, it's a very large establishment that goes from end to end. Each tent, 500 people being in. We're going to make sure we have accommodations for children to study and make sure we have safety that's here. This is not, the best conditions, but we're managing a crisis, and we cannot say any better that we need help.
So, Trump and Mayor Adams seem to be on the same page. Just build all of these massive detention centers. So I saw this news broadcast earlier today. People who were bused to that detention center, and they turned around and took another bus out of there. They didn't want to stay. Migrants unwilling. Oh, this is it.
We're at Floyd Bennett Field. To be clear, there were several families who got off an MTA bus, walked inside a facility, and they are currently there tonight. But there were other parents who got off, took a look around, and decided this was not the place for them. They in turn boarded another bus and were dropped off at a train station, effectively relinquishing their stay in the shelter system. A migrant mother saying, quote, "It's too far for them to get to their studies. They go to school on 59th Street in Manhattan." One of several migrant families who arrived Sunday at the Floyd Bennett Field tent facility in Brooklyn, unwilling to stay here. "I am very grateful for everything that they've given us," she says, "but we can't stay here. I have 4 kids with asthma. It's too far." They didn't tell us anything. It's a new facility, but we never thought it was here. Governor Kathy Hochul and Mayor Eric Adams confirmed late last month families would indeed be transferred here to live temporarily in a congregate setting. MTA buses with the first 24 or so migrant families began arriving at the gate just after noon on Sunday. A mayoral spokesperson telling Pix 11 News, quote, "With more than 65,600 migrants still currently in our care and thousands more continuing to arrive every week, we have used every possible corner of New York City and are quite simply out of good options to shelter migrants."
Oh, this is such a mess, but they sure did want the mess. Unfortunately, they who wanted the mess won't be affected by it. All of us will. And I have to tell you, this is the Pearland Flea Market, so JWTV included, the Pearland, Texas event. There are so many shootings going on every friggin' day in our country. And yeah, I do think they're real, and people are losing their minds. More people are literally losing their minds. And unfortunately, an awful lot of people have a violence in them that, electromagnetic frequencies can trigger.
C2 News begins right now with breaking news.
That breaking news coming from Pearland, where a child is dead and 4 other people are injured after a mass shooting. Thank you for joining us. I'm Bill Barajas. State Highway 35 just reopened near the Beltway, close to where those chaotic moments unfolded around dinner time this evening. There's still a very active investigation at Kohl's Flea Market on North Main near the Beltway. That's where we find our Rochelle Turner live tonight. Rochelle, you've been getting updates from investigators throughout the evening. What's the latest?
Well, Bill, as you mentioned, this is still a very active investigation. Highway 35 just reopened, as you mentioned, but this is Kohl's Flea Market right here behind us. Now, you can see a heavy police presence. Now, this has been the scene for about the past 5 hours. There's very limited information right now. One of the 2 children died at the hospital. The flea market has been around for many years, and police say it's always busy on the weekends. On any given day, there could be thousands of people at the market. Now is the focus of a shooting investigation.
And for all we know, it could very well be those who have been welcomed across the border.
The mayor sat for a
I thought I had another shooting. Okay. Tampa police chief resigns after footage shows her flashing badge in a golf cart traffic stop. Oh yeah. I got the badge, so I don't have to follow the law.
one-on-one interview a few hours after accepting the resignation of Police Chief Mary O'Connor over abusing her badge.
I'm the police chief in Tampa.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
I'm hoping that you'll just let us go tonight.
I don't know if betrayal is the word, but disappointment.
She gave O'Connor a second chance after a contentious selection process that highlighted, yes, O'Connor's leadership skills, but also an arrest from 1995, after which the rookie cop was fired and reinstated for battering an officer during a traffic stop.
I think that she was a good choice, and I provide those second chances. You can never know what decisions individuals are going to make down the road, and clear.
Well, I think that's true today. We can't know what the hell anybody is going to be doing because everything has just become, well, you don't have much consistency when they can, dial up the frequencies and tune in to people and make them do crazy things. Yeah. So, but I've known people like that. And it's really, it ain't right. It just ain't right. All right, so I included in my live last night, Mayor of Dalton using her office to intimidate, to use law enforcement in Dalton, Illinois, to harass people that, well, criticize her leadership. I have also, there was another news broadcast about the mayor and others in her office on the taxpayers' dime, going to Las Vegas, going to restaurants in Dalton or other places in Illinois, and just racking up these very high bills that the taxpayers are paying, like first class ticket to Las Vegas, and they can't seem to get rid of this woman. Okay, this was posted today. And if you recall, there's a woman in this video that I'm going to show you that was in the videos yesterday who was criticizing the mayor. Well, look what happened. This was posted just today.
But I want to share with you what my office is going through. The last board meeting in October, I wasn't able to make it, and my deputy sat in for me. And I think she did an.
And this was the deputy that spoke and said things that weren't very flattering about the mayor. Well, listen up.
Excellent job. And she's a young lady. She's 34 years old, and I'm really mentoring her. This is something I wanted to mentor our mayor on, but unfortunately she wanted to take a different route. So, hey, my hands are just tied on that. So this young lady spoke up for our office, and what happened? They came and terminated. Well, I'm gonna tell you the story. First, like October the 6th, that Friday, she and I were out at different meetings all day. We left the office at 11 o'clock, and we were gone till like 6 o'clock that evening. But during the course of us going to one of the meetings, Scott from maintenance called us and said, "Clerk, what code do you want to put on your office?" I'm like, "What do you mean, what code do I want to put? I have a code." He said, "But I'm changing it because you said someone compromised." I said, "I never told you anyone compromised my code. Leave my code alone." Well, he was instructed by Keith Freeman to change my code. So he changed my code. I come to work the next day. I can't get in my office because the code has been changed. Jason, who accompanied me because things are getting so toxic, and Barbara, thank you again because you accommodated us. So toxic, we couldn't get in. But let me back up a little bit. That same day, that Friday, Dalton Police went to Deputy Clerk's home, her mother's home, and said, "We're doing a well-being check. Eris didn't come to work today." The biggest lie that could ever be told.
From Dalton Police Department? And you're doing a wellness check? Yes.
Her mother is standing there very startled because while we were in the office, her mother called and we were talking to her. But yet, if someone come to your house, 2 officers, and say, "We're doing a well-being check on your child," what are you gonna think? Something has happened. This is how crazy things are. Her mother immediately called us and said, "Are you okay? Are you okay? 2 officers came here looking for you. Are you okay?" She's like, "Mom, I'm okay. I'm here with the clerk. We're fine." So, if that wasn't enough, when we went to office that following Monday, here come these same officers to our office, trying to serve her termination papers. First of all, if you're going to be terminated, I'm her immediate boss, right? I should have been informed.
Who's supposed to know? Who's supposed to not
No, I'm going to give everything that I want to
Very well.
Yeah. Come on, Pastor, we gotta wrap this up. And we gotta sort you out. Get your color stuff. Anything that comes up. You'll ask her to sign. I need to sign this. No, I'm not signing anything. Okay. We've been instructed not to return to the building at all.
Do you mind walking out?
I don't know how much I need.
If you didn't know, Eris is appointed by me. And I'm the only person on the board of trustees that can terminate her, not the mayor on her own. So we're working on that right now, and trust me, she's gonna get her job back.
Wow. Yeah. This is what sick, twisted people do. They try, if they're not in a position of power, they make up stories and get law enforcement involved, send for the police to do wellness checks. I just wish that we had the majority of Americans who were sane and of sound mind, meaning a healthy mind. Like, they wouldn't even think of doing something like that. So that deputy clerk that you saw in the very early on in this video, got fired. Apparently by the mayor that doesn't have the authority to fire her, but send the police. Well, you're gonna leave, right? Excuse my French, but what the fuck is wrong with an awful lot of Americans? Seriously, they need to be They need to be sectioned and brought to some, psychiatric institution where they, are behind locked doors. People, ordinary people, destroy other ordinary people's lives because they're sick and twisted. Higher immigration without business investment lowers Canadian living standards. No shit, Sherlock. And Suella Braverman is out. The Home Secretary. She's out. I was rather surprised. Suella Braverman finally calls out two-tiered policing. Met cops arrest as many patriots as possible. Standoff Palestine mob. Son. Arrest. These are the... this was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday, arrests. Proves Suella whipped it up. Monday, Suella gets sacked. The liberal establishment again gets its scalp. I don't know what is going on. But Sunak said no more. It could have something to do with her position on the immigration. I think she was the one who got the proposal to send migrants to Sudan, I think? Somalia? No. So, and David Cameron has been appointed the Foreign Secretary. Oh my God. David Cameron's. Well, a whole lot of shuffling the deck going on in the UK. You got to think, oh, what do they want to happen in the future? Grocery chain in the UK is removing self-checkout after realizing executives hate it as much as customers do. They like to talk to people. Well, how cool is that? Some people love the self-checkout at the grocery store, others hate it. So this chain, Booths, a supermarket chain in northern England. Hey guys in the UK, any of you go to Booths? So no more self-checkout. They want the interaction between the employees and the customers. Yeah, I'd love to go back to those days. Australian ports hit by nationally significant cyber incident. Containers pile up. Cybersecurity incident that has paralyzed Australia's second largest port operator, which manages container terminals in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Fremantle. Well, we're having a lot of cyber attacks. Is everybody getting used to the cyber attacks that are going on? Used to enough that you're not going to freak out when they do the big one? You're getting conditioned to having everything kind of, because Australia had a major cyber attack on their Optus, which was an internet provider, leaving how many? 10 million without any service for about 12 hours. Businesses affected, even landlines were affected. For sure, the credit card machines, everything was down for about 12 hours. Major impact. Businesses lost a tremendous amount of money. Now we have cyber attacks at a port, a very busy port. Goods travel through ports. So the last I read was that they were still in the midst of trying to fix the problem. And yeah, the censorship is going to be pretty intense. But don't we know it? Don't we know it? So I can just bypass this article. I'm going to. What? Mainstream media? Oh boy. They have to somehow just keep up that narrative. Well, you'll hear it.
What do you make of the idea, though, that we've got Channel 4 reporting, it's all about the racist mob at Cenotaph, and BBC saying it was a largely peaceful event. But it's only peaceful because the police don't challenge the criminality, which is clearly and utterly. It's not two people on a march of 300,000. It is clearly hundreds, if not a few thousand people on these marches who are shouting and chanting and showing racist, anti-Semitic, racist insignia and the like. If you only watch Channel 4, you only read The Guardian or see the BBC website, you will think one event happened. The day's events came off a certain way. If you use other media as well, you will know a completely different story. That is very dangerous territory, isn't it?
Okay, so she's saying hundreds of people who were chanting and speaking, anti-Semitic, remarks, but she even says at some point that it's a criminal offense. Well, it should not be, okay? Speaking and chanting something is not a crime. Even if your government makes it a crime, it's not a crime, okay? So think about why they're making it a crime. But these, and this was huge in the UK, huge. I heard Jeremy Corbyn said that it was something like 750,000 people showed up for this. That to me is really, I can't even imagine, but I have to wonder what's going on. All right. Yes, this is a big deal. It's very obvious that a genocide is taking place. And I think an awful lot of people are very, very upset about. Maybe I got that number wrong, but they have been. Well, Kimmy, sorry, sweetie. You're just going to have to deal with the blasting of your ears. Or how about this? Don't watch. Don't watch. But it's funny that she injects in hundreds of people, showing that it wasn't a peaceful march, but she doesn't show any evidence for that. Doesn't show any evidence. And if you look at the signs as she's speaking, about how, that people were hateful and they were anti-Semitic, and none of the signs reflect that. But you got to keep that narrative up, right? Oh, again, just to let you know, yes, your car is spying on you.
See, I have a couple cars, and one of my cars is a relatively late model Ford Explorer. And this is one of those cars where I walk over, and when I get in the car, if my phone is on me, my phone connects to the infotainment center, so if somebody calls me, I can answer the phone and just talk, and it works through the magic of the car itself. But it also turns out, apparently, that most modern cars now not only allow you to simply hook your phone through them to make phone calls and receive phone calls, they will also download your text messages and other information off your phone, and they will go through it looking for information that they can use. And then, of course, they can make that information available to anybody else who wants it, including, law enforcement. And so a lawsuit got filed in the state of Washington about this, and it was filed as a class action on behalf of everyone who owned one of these cars against several of the car companies. And the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals just dismissed the case. It was actually already dismissed, but they upheld the dismissal, and said that, there's actually nothing illegal about this. And see, in Washington, they've got a law on privacy. And so somebody said, isn't this a violation of our privacy law? And the Ninth Circuit said, no, it's not. So as of right now, next time you get in your car and your phone is on you, remind yourself that, oh, by the way, the car itself might be downloading all my text messages and looking through it for keywords and perhaps selling information to people who want to know, like somebody who's looking for something. And again, I find this very disturbing, but the case is Stacy.
It sure is very disturbing. So I'm going to put the link in, and you can listen to the full video. But, well, we're being spied on all over, up the wazoo. I just want to play the first few minutes. This was actually a video that was posted a year ago. But when you listen to what happened to Abby Martin of the Empire Files, there's so many people now that are shadow banned. The algorithms are just not keeping up, you know, with an awful lot of people in terms of YouTube feeds. You're not getting, and you get an awful lot of those official, you know, the authoritative sources, mainstream media. When you do a search on YouTube, it's crap now. Virtually everything that you get is mainstream media. So, but this is what happened to Abby Martin, and this is what's happening to more and more and more of us.
Isn't that terrible? / this week in
Isn't that Nazi?
Isn't that Nazi?
We are so excited to bring on our guest, Abby Martin, extremely brave journalist. She has her own show called The Empire Files, which is excellent. She also was on RT, and we're going to talk to her about that and the recent decision by YouTube to remove all of her videos. And she's the director of a great documentary called Gaza Fights for Freedom. Welcome, Abby Martin. Welcome back to Useful Idiots. We're so excited to have you on. So thank you for gracing us with your presence.
I'm so happy to join you guys. Thank you for having me.
So we wanted to start off, there's so much to talk about: Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, Yemen, censorship. But I thought a good place to start would be censorship and the status of all of your episodes of Breaking the Set, which is the show that you had on RT America. Please tell us where people can find those episodes now.
It's a good question, Katie. Luckily, I found out that my mom actually recorded them all. Like every day she recorded the episode on some program on her computer. So I was like, thank God for moms, man, because I don't know where those episodes could be found now. And, you know, just for people who maybe don't understand what happened, like this is the culmination of a years-long censorship campaign. Started with the algorithmic backpaging of alternative media, the acquiescence to the state on behalf of these Silicon Valley giants that tasked themselves with fact-checking and the curation of our reality that brought us to the point that precipitated this overt, outright ban on all RT programming, the removal of entire libraries of shows, thousands of critical interviews about empire, about the corporate state that we live in. So it was pretty devastating. And even though I think we knew that this was inevitably coming, nothing can really prepare you for that loss. Even if I had a huge archive of all 600 episodes, that was the main vehicle to share all the content. Like all of the dead links, all of the community that was a part of that. It's devastating.
Wow.
Yes, it is devastating. So, as the censorship gets more and more intense, especially on YouTube, especially on Google, you know, it's up to us to keep circulating and to inform one another of what happened to somebody's channel and tell them, you know, if you know where they're posting, it's up to all of us. If we want to get news that is not, you know, from an authoritative source. And my hunch is that that there's a lot of you that do want that. So those channels that you watch, and when they go down, I just noticed that somebody had posted on Dutch Sense, who is having a really hard time posting. I had posted on what was happening with Dutch Sense, and I'm just wondering, is he posting? Is he posting anything anywhere? All right, I hope somebody answers. So, let me just go through, some of this very quickly. Americans continue to ransack their retirement funds, their retirement savings. Why? Why? Because a whole lot have been fired. A whole lot cannot deal with the inflation. A whole lot are faced with rents skyrocketing. What is this doing to Americans? Causing an awful lot of stress. And I'm just going to play a few minutes of this. This is Howard, PhD. I'm going to link below to the video, but I subscribe and I recommend that you guys check out the channel, because he has a very straightforward way of presenting the economic news.
Hello, and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video via social media and with your friends via email. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Layoffs are coming in America, and thousands of people have already been impacted. Today, I read an article on KTVU.com written by LaMonica Peters that was titled, "More Tech Job Layoffs Announced at Google, Amazon, and Snap." The author of this article referenced Abby Reyes from the Bay Area Council Economic Institute, who said the 9-county Bay Area lost almost 17,000 jobs last month, which was the worst monthly job loss we saw since Omicron hit in late 2020 and early 2021. The author of this article went on to say that Google, Amazon, Snap, and Zillow say they're making more cuts to their workforce. Neither Google nor Amazon disclosed how many jobs were being cut this time. Well, here are my thoughts. Perhaps the fact that the Federal Reserve has hiked their Fed funds rate 11 times is starting to have an impact on our economy. The fact that these companies are laying off workers may have something to do with business slowing. Either that or they are looking for ways to be more efficient. My heart goes out to all of these workers who have lost their jobs or will soon be losing their jobs. I truly...
And yeah, because will they be able to find a comparable job to the one that they lost? No. If the economy is so great, why are tax revenues so weak? I have said in many videos, the quarterly headlines that would come out, the IRS takes in a historic amount, an amount over and above anything that they have ever taken in. And I was a little surprised because people were losing their jobs. The economy was ditching. And how is it that the IRS is collecting these unprecedented amounts in taxes when I know that Americans just don't have the money? It was all bullshit. It's part of the, hey, the economy is doing beautifully, and look at this. Biden comes out every month, or a spokesperson for the Biden administration, to talk about, oh, how many jobs have been created. And then a week later, you'll see all of the articles about, well, those numbers have been adjusted much lower. the lying press really needs to stop lying, but they won't. So, yeah, the economy is so great. Why are tax revenues so weak? Why are Americans in such a rotten mood? Biden blames the media. Despite the media whitewashing every bit of bad news about the president and numerous reports in unexpected places about how great the economy is, President Biden blames the media for the U.S.'s sour mood. This is what he said: "We have the highest share of working-age Americans in the workforce in 20 years. Okay. Bullshit. He said in remarks from the White House Roosevelt Room, and it's no accident, he went on, it's no accident, it's Bidenomics. Biden asked by a reporter why many Americans still don't feel good about the economy despite progress on jobs, pointed to negative media coverage. He said, "You all are not the happiest people in the world, what you report," Biden said, "and I mean it sincerely. You get more legs when you're reporting something that's negative. I don't mean you're picking me. You're picking me. It's just the nature of things. I think the 300,000 plus people who got jobs feel better about the economy. The American people are smart as hell and know what their interests are. I think they know they're better off financially than they were before. It's a fact." It's a fact. So how you feeling, Americans? It's a fact. You are financially better now than you were before. It's a fact. I really don't understand how it is that Americans just listen to these lies over and over and over and over every fucking day, and they're not outraged by them. What's the media saying? The Economist, April 13, "America's economic outperformance is a marvel to behold." CEPR, May 10, "Joe Biden has given us the greatest economy ever." Inquirer, June 20, "Spread the news. U.S. economy is strong under Biden." Wall Street Journal, June 29, "U.S. economy shows surprising vigor in first half of 2023. Yahoo Finance, July 14, "Americans haven't felt this good about the economy in almost 2 years. Wall Street Journal, July 27, "Could a recession still be years away?" We're in it. A silent depression. Actually, steady growth, moderating inflation, improve odds of extended expansion. Bloomberg, August 7, "The U.S. economy is great. Stop worrying about it." Wall Street Journal, September 2nd, "Resilient U.S. economy defies expectations." The Guardian, September 15, "U.S. economy going strong under Biden. Americans don't believe it." Wall Street Journal, October 18, "The economy is great. Why do Americans blame Biden?" Bloomberg, October 22nd, "Biden's economy is great everywhere except in the polls." Bloomberg, October 26, "Yellen says GDP data shows U.S. economy is doing very well." Wall Street Journal, November 1, "The economy is great. Why are Americans in such a rotten mood?" That's your mainstream media for you. Outright lies told to the American public. Gaslighting. I have no money in my pocket. What the hell? I'm reading this headline. Do you know how dangerous this is? This is not funny. This is dangerous. But it really shows that we are not a sane, healthy country. We are mentally ill. When you accept all of these lies, you are mentally ill. There's something wrong with you. When you are not outraged by the lies, there is something wrong with you. The amount of destruction that these lies cause, the amount of destruction to just relationships between people, people who believe these lies and accept them, especially those who don't want to help their friends or family and want to point a finger at them, they use these headlines. The economy is doing well and there are jobs out there. So you're lazy. You're just not thinking positively. And sorry, I'm not going to help you. Gives the sick and twisted a lot of ammunition to use against those who are struggling. My God. High stakes and a simple choice. Ugh. I'm going to save the rest for tomorrow. Who is this? This is the founder of Home Depot, who's 94, and he's exhausted by the politics and saddened by what I see in America. He does do a good synopsis of many of the problems that we are facing. We cannot let the America we see today be what we leave to our children and grandchildren. Oh, but so many don't care what they leave. Yeah, that's a big problem. Many of our once great cities have devolved into lawlessness with random violent attacks on innocent people, rampant looting, and large-scale homeless encampments. There are rarely consequences for the wrongdoers because George Soros-elected prosecutors across America refuse to prosecute them. Our southern border is unprotected, and millions of people we know nothing about pour into our nation to receive care and benefits that we cannot afford to provide to our struggling military veterans, to our struggling elderly, to our struggling American citizens. Worse, many of the border crossers may be gang members. They are, who commit violent crimes here. School children across America can't read, write, or do basic math, while our educational leaders tell us that they know better than parents how to raise our children. Working men and women are struggling to provide for their families and must raid their retirement funds just to feed, clothe, and take care of their children. These are just a few of the problems America is facing after 3 years. After 3 years? After 3 years. Of bad government policy. I'd like to point out that my entire life, 64 years, it's been a steady decline. It's only getting to people's minds now because everything has become so obvious. So those who still don't see that we've got a lot of problems, ditch them. I don't know what to say about those people. They're dangerous. Stay away from them. So, of course, the ending of the article, vote for Trump. Yeah, Trump is going to be the savior. NBC compares criticism of Hunter's influence peddling to Haley's daughter, Nikki Haley's daughter, on TikTok. Her posts. Really? Wow. The determined effort of mainstream media to ignore the evidence of a massive corruption scandal surrounding the Biden family, NBC seems to have achieved a singular distinction with a comparison between the criticism of the daughter of Nikki Haley for using TikTok and the criticism of Hunter Biden for influence peddling. Same thing. Lay off Lay off the children. Even when they're committing crimes? Is there a difference between committing a crime and posting on TikTok? I think so. But not for our mainstream media and all of those leftists, Democrats who love all of the shit they hear. Don't care about the truth. They just want their team glorified. And for what? Here. The Biden-DuPont nexus, from a prestigious golf club to a controversial child rape plea deal. Biden, known for his middle-class Joe image and modest financial status, joined the exclusive Fieldstone Golf Club, a symbol of prestige and power. This move painted a contrasting picture. A politician aligned with working-class values, yet rubbing shoulders with the state's most affluent family, renowned for their chemical company empire. Biden's connection to the DuPonts extended beyond social interactions. His staffing choices, political allies, and personal real estate investments all reflected a deep integration with his influential family. His acquisition of a mansion built by a DuPont member further underscores this relationship. Biden's entry into the Fieldstone Golf Club raised eyebrows and led to a brief FBI investigation in 2007. The inquiry centered on how Biden obtained his club membership, especially as it involved an unused ticket from a company owned by the club's founder, potentially bypassing a substantial partnership fee. And Biden also, in 1974, spent $185,000 to buy what he called a gorgeous, enormous mansion built 6 decades earlier by a DuPont family member in Greenville, Delaware. The home, which he named The Station, served. This was $185,000. He sold it in 1996 for $1.2 million, and then bought a 4-acre lakefront property in Greenville. But, let's see, 2009, a controversial plea deal offered by then Beau Biden, Attorney General in Delaware, Biden's son, to a DuPont heir accused of raping his own daughter when she was a toddler. My God. Okay, so Richards was originally charged with 2 counts of second-degree rape, which carried a minimum of 20 years behind bars. Instead, he pled guilty in 2008 to 4th-degree rape, which carries no minimum prison time. The deal was offered to DuPont heir Robert Richards IV, who had confessed to the 4th-degree rape of his 3-year-old daughter. He was spared prison time, a decision that sparked public outrage and scrutiny. Beau Biden defended the decision in 2014, citing the case's weaknesses and potential for loss at trial. But these justifications were met with skepticism. The guy confessed to raping his 3-year-old daughter. No jail time. Beau Biden. Do you understand how we have, in positions of leadership, scum, criminals, the lowest of the low? Why do you think so many of us are struggling? Ugh. Strip clubs, lewd photos, and a boozy hotel. The toxic atmosphere at bank regulator FDIC. Federal Deposit Insurance. This article about that agency, most of our agencies, just like that. Yeah. We are seriously immoral, a disgrace, a laughable joke to the world's people. An industrial robot kills man in South Korean distribution center. A man in South Korea was crushed to death by a machine which apparently failed to differentiate him from the boxes of produce it was handling. Red peppers? Well, the machine instead picked up him and crushed him. Don't you wish that we could just go back to the days of people doing jobs? I mean, there were a lot of people who were hurt by machines and everything, but we could have enacted, policies to make sure that workers were not hurt. But these robots are causing a lot of problems. Okay, Z is coming to San Francisco. So, what are they doing to San Francisco? They're cleaning it up. Wow. So, the residents who live in San Francisco are getting the message that the government officials in San Francisco don't care about you. They only care about the distinguished presidents of countries. In this case, it's President Z. Clean up San Francisco, get rid of all of the homeless. It's unsightly. But not for you, residents. Your businesses are actually suffering because of all of the unsightliness of what's going on in San Francisco. This is such a slap in the face to the residents of San Francisco. It's amazing.
Yes, that's right. The summit is expected to bring in $53 million, filling hotel rooms, bringing big business. And the city did tidy up for Dreamforce, but this cleanup is much more extensive. While San Francisco is in the spotlight for the Asia Pacific Economic Conference, city leaders are making sure the city shines.
Tourism is our business here in San Francisco, and we need to focus on making sure that the tourist dollars still come back.
Caltrans repaving major roadways like the Harrison Street off-ramp from the I-80. BART doubling down by deep cleaning their stations overnight more often.
The city had gotten a little bit dingy over time.
Scrubbing and power washing is happening all over the city.
Yeah, the bottom of my shoes look clean.
It's noticeable how clear the streets look and how few homeless encampments there are on major thoroughfares.
Having been a longtime resident in the Bay Area, you just naturally start to wonder of houseless folks being displaced.
Public Works is installing decorative crosswalks in North Beach and Chinatown, and the Webster Street pedestrian bridge in Japantown was recently repainted. The Yerba Buena Gardens at the Moscone Center are decked out with new colorful landscaping and murals.
So, yeah, it is a major slap in the face.
Has certainly been stepping up its efforts to put its best face forward, and that includes clearing out homeless encampments in areas around the conference. Our Leslie Gooden looked into where the unhoused are going and what is being done to get them help.
Apex is just 2 days away, and many people in the city are getting ready for it. But some advocacy groups say that the unhoused individuals who live in the security zone are being mistreated, and they say the city is not doing enough. I spoke with one unhoused individual who says he was pushed out of that security zone.
Yeah, this is the third time they came and kicked us out, and then they wouldn't let us put our tents back up this time.
Michael Hudson has been living near Market Street and 12th for the past few months and says he just found out about the APEC conference.
What do you think about the president coming?
It don't affect me either way, man. He ain't doing nothing for me.
He says he was forced to leave where he's been living, and in the process lost many of his belongings.
This is so insane. You know, the San Franciscans and, you know, people in California generally, and all other cities, have been screaming at their government officials, please clean this up. You know, I have the homeless living right at my door, and people don't want to walk in to the store, screaming. And that guy said, well, San Francisco got a little dingy. Talk about mischaracterizing with a descriptive word. It got to be a nightmare of disgusting mess, of a whole lot of crap on the streets, and I mean that literally, crap. The drug paraphernalia on the streets, the homeless all over the place, and all of the businesses that have closed down in San Francisco. Well, boy, government officials can actually do something. They can clean up the city. If President Xi of China is coming, do you see how this is a real big, it should be a wake-up call. It should be a wake-up call. Government officials do nothing for Americans because they don't care about you. But they care about President Xi. They're putting up all of these gates.
你睇下，哇！阿侵嗰幅墨西哥牆，係墨西哥牆真係搬咗嚟三藩市啊！依家喺 New Montgomery，OK？ 呢個紅牆嗱，紅牆鐵壁，我哋依家喺安全區 ，OK？
And you hear the Chinese women laughing. Oh my God, it's so... San Francisco finally fixed the homeless crisis. All it took was a visit from a world dictator. Before, after.
Here we are, downtown San Francisco, and as you can see, they got it blocked off. I'm not a big fan of these barricades. It's sad our country's not safe enough. It's sad they got to put up barricades. Can only imagine how the economy are.
Just in case there's protesters. And look at what they did. Wow. They put out these potted plants for Xi. I actually don't think that they look all that good, but yeah, before and after Xi. Before Xi and after. See the top? All the tents. All the graffiti. And guess what? They cleaned it all up. They even removed the graffiti. Ugh, I can't. This, I think, was another shooting. Lake Houston Methodist Church shooting. Yesterday.
Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff. At this point, we have a deceased male here at the location. Appears to be a white male in his early 40s. We also have another person detained on scene, believed to be the shooter.
Just pointing out there's an awful lot of violence. An awful lot of violence. In fact, more here. New details released on 3 bodies found on the street in Grand Rapids neighborhood.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys. I am ready when everyone else is.
Okay. That's all you need to know. This is just going on. I see so many articles. I see so many videos of this kind of violence that is taking place, and it's only going to get worse. So, when I say be safe, I mean it. All right, here we go. U.S. seeks clarification from Netanyahu after remarks on Gaza's future. Netanyahu emphasized that Israel plans to maintain security control over Gaza even after Hamas is totally defeated. This prompted U.S. officials to request a clarification, which has shown the growing divide between Israel and the U.S. over the war. Others report in the wake of the comments. He also said that the Palestinian Authority cannot ever run the Gaza Strip. Why? Because, well, it's hard to present the Palestinian Authority as a real terrorist organization. Keep Hamas. Let's keep Hamas. We want to destroy Hamas, but the terror, we need to keep it going. Israel declares Hamas has lost control of Gaza as Biden urges less intrusive action at hospital. There is no force of Hamas capable of stopping the IDF. The IDF is advancing to every point. The Hamas organization has lost control of Gaza. Terrorists are fleeing south. Oh. And the Netanyahu and gang told everybody in North Gaza to get out of North Gaza and move south. So the terrorists are fleeing south too. That doesn't look good for the very innocent Palestinians. Oh, there are those. Palestinians disappointed Hezbollah hasn't escalated a northern war on Israel. Palestinians or the government that they have, which apparently they don't a whole lot do not like. But U.S. launches third round of airstrikes on eastern Syria, and deterrence is failing. Yeah, can't seem to stop these terrorists. Precision strikes against an Iran-linked training facility. The president has no higher priority than the safety of U.S. personnel. Really? What are they doing in Syria? Get them out of Syria. We can't take our troops out of Syria. We still have an awful lot of oil to steal. And Russia begins evacuating its nationals from Gaza. What is going to be going on there? Well, okay, where is the... Here. I'm a little disorganized, but this was supposed to come right after Palestinians upset that Hezbollah hasn't attacked more.
In the last half hour, we have seen these scenes of intense bombardment. In the last half hour, we have seen these scenes of intense bombardment in Gaza, going for several minutes, in fact. A month into the deadly war between Israel and Hamas, we are hearing different versions of what post-conflict Gaza could look like. Two of those visions have come from the US and Israel, but they're not aligned on some major points. And what we want to know is how Palestinians in Gaza see their own future. Some rhetoric from Israel's leaders has equated Hamas with the Palestinian people. Take a listen to Israeli President Isaac Herzog speaking in the wake of the Hamas attack.
First of all, we have to understand there's a state in a way that has built a machine of evil right at our doorstep. It's an entire nation out there that is responsible. It's not true. This rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved, it's absolutely not true. They could have risen up, they could have fought against that evil regime which took over Gaza.
But new polling of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank completed just before Hamas's attack paints a very different picture. In a study completed on October the 6th, that is one day before the attack, 67% of a small group of Palestinians who were polled in Gaza said they have little or no trust in Hamas. And when asked if they would vote for Hamas if new elections were to be held, less than a quarter said they would vote for the leader of Hamas. And we should note here, elections have not been held in the Palestinian territory since 2006, almost, of course, 20 years ago. I want to bring in Amani Jamal. She's one of the leaders of the Arab Barometer Project, the organization which conducted this research. She's also the dean of the Princeton School of Public and International Affairs. Amani, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. As we said, you have been conducting polls in Gaza for some time. Tell us about the polling you were undertaking before October the 7th and what that revealed, Amani, about Gazans' views on Hamas, their attitudes on Hamas.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Thank you for having me. What we found is that there was little support for the Hamas government at the eve of these atrocities. So about 2/3 of Gazans did not have any trust or little trust even in the Hamas government. That's 2/3 of the people of Gaza. While so much is being made about holding the civilians of Gaza, the women and children of Gaza accountable to the atrocities of Hamas, what we find in our poll is that there's little evidence to suggest that there's widespread support for Hamas. To your...
Okay. I'll put it's a 8-minute interview. Very interesting. Sure does tell an opposite narrative of what we're hearing from Netanyahu et al. Of all Palestinians want to kill Jews, all Palestinians, they're not innocent, they're all terrorists, they're all inhuman animals. Wow. Wow. Okay, so I just let's move on. So, families of Israelis held in Gaza condemn member of Knesset calls for destruction. So, yeah, what she just said, or what the Israeli spokesperson said, that they could have done something to stop Hamas. These Palestinians, they could have risen up and stopped, this terror attack. What? Are you kidding? Hamas is like a government, like our government, like Israeli government. No. And yes, I absolutely do believe that who created Hamas? Israel. Who funds it? Israel, the United States. It's used. Hamas is used by the Israeli government and the U.S. to create these kinds of events, to eradicate the Palestinians, to steal their oil and gas reserves, and also to take away the rights from the Israelis. It's all a staged, destructive mess. Very evil, for sure. And so Hamas just plays its role. Look, October 7, the IDF now is just taking control of the Gaza Strip. Like, that is really hard to do. Oh, incredible IDF. You have all of the military power, and Hamas has rockets. Yeah. Well, there are Israelis that are very, very upset with their government, and here's one of them.
גברתי חברת הכנסת אטבריאן, את אמרת התשובה הכי טובה לסרטון הזה היא למחוק את עזה.
I'll read the subtitle, but let me turn down the volume. So, he's speaking to a member of the Knesset. Said this video is to erase Gaza.
היא למחוק את עזה. בדודה שלי
My
שם.
cousin is there.
אשתו של בן דוד
My
שלי
cousin's
שם.
wife is there.
תינוקות
There are
נמצאים שם.
babies.
יהודים וערבים
Jews
אגב.
and Arabs, by the way.
הם שם.
They are there.
מה זה
What is
אמור
this
לעשות
supposed to
לחוסן
do
הנפשי
to our
שלנו?
mental strength?
לשמוע אתכם מדברים
you
ככה,
talk like that
בסיסמאות
in such
כאלה, כאילו
slogans,
אנחנו לא כאן.
like we're
וזה
not
מה שיש
here?
לכם להגיד. למחוק, להשמיד, לכאילו אנחנו לא כאן. וזה מה שיש לכם להגיד.
What we have to say, to
למחוק,
erase, to annihilate,
להשמיד,
to flatten?
לשטח. את מי אתם משטחים?
Who are you flattening?
בני אדם שאתם
Human
הפקרתם
beings
אתם
that
משטחים.
you've abandoned are who you're flattening.
בני אדם שנמצאים
Human beings who
תחת
are
משטר
under a
רצחני
murderous
אתם משטחים.
are who you're flattening.
אם עוד נשאר בכם
If there is still a trace of
בדל של
humanity left in
אנושיות,
you,
בבקשה,
please
בבקשה. תדאגו לחוסן
care
שלנו,
for our
תדאגו
resilience and
לחוסן
take care of the
של קרובי
resilience
המשפחה
of
שלנו
our
שנמצאים
relatives
שם, אנחנו לא
who are
יודעים אם
there.
הם חיים או
We
מתים.
don't know if they are alive or dead.
כרמל, בדודה שלי,
Carmel,
אשת
my
מקצועות
cousin,
הבריאות, היא
the
מרפאה
health
בעיסוק.
professional, she's a
ירדן
therapist.
רומן, אשתו של בן דוד שלי,
The wife of my
פיזיותרפיסטית.
cousin,
גם היא אשת מקצועות
another one,
הבריאות. כל מה שהן רצו בחיים
physiotherapist.
שלהם זה לטפל
Everything
באנשים.
they
אנחנו
want is to care
מאמינים
for people.
שגם
We
שם,
believe that too.
אם הם
If they
בקפסולה,
are in a
כמו שאמרנו
capsule,
קודם, הן
as we
מטפלות
said before,
בילדים
they are
ובמבוגרים שנמצאים
taking
שם.
care of children and adults.
לכם יש תפקיד,
You
אנחנו
have a
הזמנו את
role.
עצמנו לכאן.
We invited
לא היינו צריכים
ourselves
להזמין
here.
את עצמנו.
We didn't have to invite
אתם הייתם
ourselves.
צריכים לדבר
You
איתנו.
should have talked to us.
וגם
The minister
משרד
of
הבריאות לא צריך
Interior
לחכות
should not
שיפנו
have
אליו.
to wait to be contacted.
הוא צריך לדעת,
He should
לדאוג
know how to
לכל
take
האנשים,
care of all people.
ובראש ובראשונה
And first and foremost,
להפסיק
stop
לדבר
talking
בסיסמאות של
in
למחוק,
slogans.
לשטח ולהשמיד,
To wipe out or to
ולדאוג
flatten
לחיים.
and annihilate.
כי יש
Take
חיים
care of life
בעזה,
because there is life in Gaza.
קרובי המשפחה שלנו
Our
ועוד
family
הרבה
is there,
אחרים.
and many
תודה.
others.
תודה רבה. תודה.
Israelis are very upset. So are Jews all over the world.
I'm chair of the Jewish Network for Palestine, and it's vital that people realize that many Jewish individuals and organizations hate what's going on. It's not Jew versus Muslim, it's oppressors versus the oppressed. And it started in 1948 when Israel was founded on violent theft of Palestinian land and lives. Hundreds of Palestinian villages were destroyed. Thousands of innocent Palestinian men, women and children were slaughtered. 750,000 Palestinian refugees had to flee their homes, their businesses, their land. This problem has started in 1948 when, because of anti-Semitism in Europe, which created the Holocaust, which was awful, meant that Palestinians had to suffer. Why should Palestinians suffer from European racism? So we're here to stand for justice, and there will be no peace without justice.
And lastly, what message would you give to someone that supports Zionism?
Stop supporting apartheid. Violent racism is not the answer. We're at a crossroads. We can either have another 75 years of violence or we can have a just peace. Which do you prefer?
Man wearing Arab scarf says he was violently confronted by a woman in a Brooklyn park. People are so programmed and so indoctrinated in their beliefs that may be wrong, but they're attacking people based on those beliefs.
At a Brooklyn park as a potential hate crime. The alleged victim says that he was accosted because of the color of his skin and the scarf he was wearing. CBS 2's Naveen Dhaliwal has the story from Fort Greene.
As Ashish Prashar stands near Edmond Park,
I don't even know if it registered how bad it was at that moment.
Your son, go away.
Why?
Yeah, don't, you cannot take anything.
it's unclear what led up to the moment before the video, but the attack is caught on camera.
Get away.
A woman went on a rampage Tuesday morning as Prashar shielded his 18-month-old son on the basketball court.
She told me she's Jewish American and I don't belong here.
That's how it started. Then the woman throwing more insults.
You're a terrorist. You don't belong here. She told me several times that I didn't belong here.
Prashar stunned as things got worse.
She threw her phone viscerally at both our heads. And I ducked and it missed both of us. And at that point, I put my son on the ground behind my legs. And when I looked back up, hot coffee was coming towards my face.
Nearly missing his son.
She targeted me because I'm wearing a Palestinian scarf. I'm wearing an Arab scarf.
She stopped once a bystander against the fence stepped in. Prashar, whose family is from India, is appalled that he has become another case of mistaken identity and a victim of a possible hate crime because of the color of his skin.
I'm Punjabi. I was born in London. But it doesn't mean I don't have solidarity with anyone in the world who is seeking to be free.
And after the two recent hate crimes in the Sikh community, one fatal, now he wants local leaders to address the bias louder than ever.
It's been carried over from everyone from India to North Africa and the Middle East in the middle. We're not safe. Simply that. And our children are not safe.
Prashar says he's never seen this woman before, and now police are investigating this as a possible hate crime. So far, no arrests.
Well, I'd say it's a hate crime. Yeah, we are unfortunately seeing an awful lot of anger that is turning violent against Jews, against non-Jews. You know, my God, he was just wearing a Palestinian scarf. Now, I think what was said was that he is Palestinian, but he lives in New York and he doesn't belong there? Excuse me? Talk about entitlement a little? People have lost their minds. I don't think they ever had their minds, but now with these events that they're very passionate about, they show their true colors. And try talking to them in a reasonable manner. Well, emotions are taking over. Okay, this is a woman who actually states that she's from a Zionist family. She studied the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that has been going on forever. And she said, if I, from a Zionist family, can, I can't remember the word she used, but, you know, come out of my pro-Israel bias, so can you. Yes. If we can actually grow and do the work on ourselves to become more sane and more mentally healthy, everybody can. It's your choice.
Okay, it feels important to say this. I am not pulling my perspective on Israel-Palestine out of my ass, okay? I'm not just guessing that Israel is committing a genocide against Palestine. I have studied and researched this. I have bona fides, and I will share them. First of all, I'm a Jewish woman. I was raised by a Zionist family. My grandfather was a Holocaust survivor. My family talks about our spirit of resistance and resilience constantly. Desiring goodness from the nation of Israel is in my blood, and still, I can see that this Zionist state is vicious, violent, and evil. If someone who is raised by a Zionist family, by people who believe that Israel has the right to exist and that it is our salvation, if I can overcome my pro-Israel bias and learn about this conflict, so can you. And frankly, I should not be calling it a conflict, it's a genocide. So when I was in college, around 2012, 2013, a bunch of my friends and loved ones started going on birthright trips. And I knew enough then to ask the question when they got back from their birthright trips, what about Palestine? And when these people I love, admire, and respect started talking about Palestinians and using language like terrorists, I knew I had to learn more. I also knew that I wanted to go on birthright, and I was nervous about being brainwashed by the trip, and I should have been nervous. So before I went on birthright, I decided at my small liberal arts school in Massachusetts to get a well-rounded perspective, educational perspective on Israeli-Palestinian politics. I took 4 courses: Suffering and Evil in the Jewish Tradition, The Jewish Experience, Middle East Politics, and Arab-Israeli Conflict. I also took international and comparative politics courses that often brought up Israel and Palestine in comparisons to, for example, apartheid South Africa. And by the time I finished my ample coursework on the subject before I went on birthright, I was already pro-Palestine. Because once you are in the literature, once you are in the research, not the media stories about this, not the pro-Zionist rigmarole on CNN and MSNBC, once you are in the literature and the data, this isn't a debate. This isn't a question. People talk about Israel-Palestine like it is incredibly complicated, and I reject that premise. It is not. We know that anti-Semitism exists globally, right? We know that Jews are not the most beloved population in the world. We know that Britain has a colonial history, and they have taken on colonial projects even through the 20th and 21st centuries. Essentially, Britain already wanted to colonize Palestine. So did the United States. And at the end of World War II, Britain and the US got to talking, and they thought, who do we want to exploit for military labor someplace that is surrounded by brown people so that we can rape and pillage land that we don't currently have access to? Where's one part of the globe we haven't effectively colonized yet? And there was Palestine. And Britain had been trying to colonize Palestine already. And so this was passed off to Jews who had just survived the Holocaust as a gift. Here we're granting you this parcel of land so that you and your progeny can exist in peace and not be violated anymore. Congratulations. Except that land already belonged to someone. Palestinians were already living there. And the US and Britain didn't give a shit about the well-being of Jews. They didn't care. This wasn't a gift for Jews. This was always intended to be a trap of, you do our military labor for us. We'll put you here and we'll grant you this parcel of land that already belongs to someone that there are already people on. And in return, you will rape and pillage that land for us and we'll just all share in the wealth. And it might be a good idea too, if like your entire population were to, have conscripted military service so you can really defend that land that is yours, totally yours, bucko. And if you see who has emerged as the political leadership of Israel over the last few generations, this won't surprise you. This insidiousness will not surprise you. This is how you get Benjamin Netanyahu, someone who absolutely agrees to the premise of Israel as a Zionist ethno-nationalist state, who says, we are here for one thing and one thing only, is to garner as much wealth from this earth that we have, as much tourist property from this plot of land, convert it to dollars, and build up a military so mighty, a military apparatus so great that we wind up producing the world's weaponry. Yes, we have mined this land, and we have used the land to give you war machinery so that we can all murder each other 1,000 times over. And to the people already living here, well, we'll murder them too. I took basically a semester and a half of college courses on this, and I know in my bones that what Israel is doing right now is a genocide. It's evil. What they've been doing for the last 75 years is a genocide. It is drip violence, slow violence, protracted harm. It is meant to exhaust the civilian population of Palestine. It is meant to exhaust all Palestinians out of their will to fight. And all the benefit the wealth garnered from that land goes to the primary stakeholders, not the Palestinian people to whom the land originally belonged.
Yes, and I'm going to put the link in. Please, circulate this. Circulate this woman. And when finally I hear somebody say what we're all conditioned to believe, it's complicated. It's not complicated at all. The only complication is trying to find the truth about what's going on, as opposed to listening to all of the lies coming from Netanyahu et al., Biden et al. Yeah. So, again, I say we need a force of good out there. It's got to be mighty. Who is that force of good? All of us. All of us. All of us. And it's not about, well, I'm good and I believe I'm good. It's about what you do, not what you believe about yourself and not what you tell others. It's about what you do in life. You know, those fruits, you will know them by their fruits. What does that mean? It means you will know them by what they produce in life. You'll know them by what they manifest in life. So live honestly, speak honestly, and if you don't know how to do that, an exercise that I actually did, I don't know how long ago, decades now, I tried every day to not lie, meaning I was not an outright liar, but well, I guess they're outright lies. How are you? Fine. How are you? Fine. I started telling people how I was. And I noticed that that is just a social interaction that people don't really want the honesty. They just want you to say fine. And then you say it, and then they say fine. Oh, okay, good to see you. Ciao. I started not going into detail, but actually telling people how I felt. And not lying to people. When they asked me questions about how they looked or, you know, I called you, you know, last night, but you didn't call back, I would say, I just was not in the mood for talking. Oh my God. What an affront. How dare you? When you're in a conversation with somebody or you're having an interaction with somebody and something comes up and you know the truth, but you say something that will get approval, try to break that. Break it. Break it. We need to be honest in life. That is the only possible way that we could ever manifest anything healthy. You want healthy relationships? You don't betray people, you don't lie. You want a healthy society? You don't betray people and you don't lie. Bottom line. So, I know that it's hard for Americans because we have grown up as the people of the lie. Well, where did that get us? So be safe out there, for sure. Do be a force of good in your community, in your family, in your relationships. And thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow night. And on that note, I say good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.